In this video, we're going to discuss radical functions. A radical function is any function y is equal to the square root of x, or y is equal to cube root of x, y is equal to the fourth root of x, and so on. Let's look at how some of these look on the calculator. Let's do y is equal to the square root of x. Notice how y is equal to the square root of x, it's only being graphed in positive y values because the square root of x can never be negative. Now, of course, we could have y is equal to negative the square root of x, and then our graph will be in the negatives because the negative is outside of the radical sign. Let's look at that. This one's going to be in red. So we do have negative y values, but it's not because we have a negative inside the radical. We're never going to have a negative inside the radical. It's because we have the negative outside. Let's look at y is equal to the cube root of x. So to get the cube root symbol, we go into math and scroll down to 4, or just press the 4 button. And you'll notice there's a little 3 next to the radical symbol. That means we're doing cube root. And let's put an x and graph. This is what a cube root graph looks like. Let's just look at the fourth root. To get the fourth root, we go into math. And then notice by 5, there's an x and then a radical sign. Press 5 or scroll down to 5. Now we could choose whatever number we want to put in there. So we're going to put in a 4. And then we're going to put inside an x. And graph. It looks pretty much like a square root of x, but it's going to be a little bit different. Let's discuss some questions you might have on the Regent regarding radical functions. You might be asked to evaluate a radical function at a point. Let's say you have f of x or y is equal to the square root of x plus 4 over x. You might be asked to evaluate this when x is equal to 3. And let's do that. That means that f of 3 is equal to the square root of 3 plus 4 over 3. And this is equal to the square root of 7 over 3. And this would be your answer. Let's look at a Regent question from August 2015, question number 12. If f of x is equal to the square root of 2x plus 3 over 6x minus 5, then f of 1 over 2 is equal to, and then we have 4 answer choices. So this is a radical function because we have an x or something being multiplied by x. We have some sort of variable inside the square root symbol. Let's say we have y is equal to the square root of 4. This is not a radical function because we don't have a variable inside the square root sign. Y is equal to the square root of x is a radical function. Y is equal to the square root of x plus 3 is a radical function. Y is equal to the square root of 2 times x plus 3. These are all radical functions because we have an x inside the radical sign. So this f of x function they give us in the question is also a radical function because we have an x inside the radical. We have an x outside also, but we have an x inside. And we want to evaluate f of 1 over 2. So let's do that. F of 1 over 2 is equal to the square root of 2 times 1 over 2 plus 3 over 6 times 1 over 2. All we're doing is plugging in, wherever we see an x, we're plugging in 1 over 2. And now we just have to simplify this. So f of 1 over 2 is equal to the square root of 2 times a half is 1, and then we have a plus 3, over 6 times a half is 3, minus 5. So this is equal to the square root of 1 plus 3 is 4, over 3 minus 5 is negative 2. The square root of 4 is 2, and we have it over a negative 2. 2 over negative 2 is negative 1, which is choice 3.